What's up guys, my name's Brandon and I'm a lifelong iPhone user, but that doesn't mean that I don't like to try out the new Android phones, the new Galaxy phones, and that's exactly what I did over the past few weeks with the brand new Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. So I've been using the S10 Plus here as my daily driver alongside the iPhone XS Max, and I wanted to share with you guys my experience over these past few weeks, how it's been for me, if I think it's worth it for you to upgrade, or if I think it's worth it for you to switch from the iPhone to the S10 Plus. We're going to answer all those questions in this video. Let's start with the design of the S10 Plus and the display on this guy. So we have the traditional rectangular design that we've kind of been used to all along with a stunning 6.4-inch 1440 by 3040 dynamic AMOLED display. And I just feel like a broken record when I make any kind of review on the new Galaxy phones because this screen is just incredible. It's the best display I've ever seen. I feel like I say that in every video, but it's true. It just gets better and better. Samsung always manages to improve the screen year after year, and it honestly makes the iPhone screens look just mediocre. I mean, especially when outside in direct sunlight, the Galaxy really shines there. When it comes to holding the phone itself, it feels great in the hand. I mean, I am used to the circular design of the iPhone, but the rectangular edges and the thinner profile of the S10 Plus are easy to adjust to and just feel fine when performing daily tasks or, watching something or responding to text messages. Whatever you're doing, it feels fine in the hand. And 19 grams may seem like a little bit, but it is definitely noticeable. When you hold the two, one in each hand, you will notice a big difference in the weight. I mean, even when they're in your pocket, you can tell a difference in the weight. I mean, I have my iPhone in one pocket and the S10 Plus in the other pocket, and I could feel a difference just, in the weight of the two phones when they're in my pocket. I mean, it's not like a massive difference. It's not going to bring your pants down or something like that, but it's definitely noticeable if you pay attention to it. And that's actually one of the first things when I unboxed the S10 Plus that I noticed compared to the iPhone XS Max is how much lighter it is. Now, the dual camera setup on the display of the S10 Plus didn't really seem so bad to me at first, but after using the S10 alongside my iPhone on a daily basis, I must say that and I hate to say this, I prefer the notch. The notch is just a tad less intrusive and easier to, not see, if that makes sense. And this may just be because it's so new. I mean, the notch I didn't like at first either. It took me some time to get over it. It may very well be the case here with this dual camera setup on the front as well. And of course, let me make it very clear that neither one of these are great at all. I mean, I don't like the notch. I don't like the dual camera setup in the screen here on the S10 Plus, but that's what we have to deal with in 2019. Now, speaking of that front-facing camera, it is solid, and I love having a dual camera setup, unlike the iPhone or the S10e, which is my other S10 that I bought, because the wide-angle lens on the front-facing camera just captures more real estate, and you never really have to worry about your head getting cut off when you're taking a selfie or anything like that. It's just great. You also have live focus right here as well, and you can see we have the blur effect right there, we have spin, we have zoom, and we also have color points. So there's a lot of things you can do, and you can kind of adjust the bokeh as well, which is really nice for the front-facing camera here. And of course, the thing I love with Android is that you have the camera settings and all these settings just right on top there inside of the camera app, unlike the iPhone and iOS where you have to go all the way back into settings and then change the settings for, your camera, whatever quality you want to shoot in and things like that. Now, watching videos and playing games is a great experience on the S10 Plus as expected. I mean, that beautiful display really brings out all the colors, especially when you go into settings and set the resolution to its max, which is 3040 by 1440. And of course, what would good video be without good audio? So the audio quality from the external Dolby Atmos speakers is just terrific. And the thing I love most about it is that you can go in and tweak the audio settings inside of your settings as well. You can tweak it to whatever you're doing or whatever you're watching. Now, before we flip this phone over and take a look at the back, I just wanted to talk about the comparison of the display on the S10 Plus compared to something like the iPhone XS Max. Because the iPhone XS Max has a very slightly larger display at 6.5 inches, but the two screens look completely different. We have a 19:9 aspect ratio on the S10 and a 19:5:9 aspect ratio on the iPhone. And then once again, we have a slimmer but taller display on the Galaxy, whereas on the iPhone, we have a wider, more circular display. And in my opinion, I don't really like one more than the other. They're both great for different scenarios, but it just took a little bit of time to get used to the display, how it's just so much different than the iPhone's display. But I will say it's easier to reach across the screen on the Galaxy compared to the iPhone. It's really hard with with one hand, especially the XS Max, that big display. It's hard to take your thumb and go all the way over if you're right-handed to the left side of the screen, whereas on the Galaxy, it's just a lot easier to do that. Now, the thing I'm not really a huge fan of on the S10 Plus is the in-screen fingerprint sensor. It just isn't as accurate as I had hoped. Now, I will say that it was really bad at launch, but a software update did help a lot with the accuracy of the fingerprint sensor. I had to redo my fingerprint like 5 times now. I mean, I did both hands, I did, different fingers. And the issue is that you just kind of have to put your thumb on the sensor perfectly. And it's kind of hard to tell when you're putting it on perfectly or not on in the right spot when you can't actually see the fingerprint sensor itself. Sometimes I find myself kind of guessing where it is and I might be slightly off, so it won't read my fingerprint as accurately as it should. But to give Samsung the benefit of the doubt, this is first generation technology. This is the first time we've had a fingerprint sensor inside of the display, so you can't really expect it to be amazing right off the bat. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of the fingerprint sensor, and I find myself more using facial recognition to unlock my phone nowadays. So a little bit disappointing. Maybe I'll go back to the fingerprint sensor. Maybe some more software updates will come out and make it more accurate and better, but I just don't like it that much right now. Now, flipping the S10 over to the back, you can see that we have the awesome prism white color here, which looks absolutely amazing. Now, it is a fingerprint magnet, but if you have a case on there, which I highly recommend you do, this won't really be an issue for you. Now, if you decide to not rock a case on the S10 or S10 Plus, you do have a little bit of drop protection with Gorilla Glass 5, but it's still gonna shatter if you drop it, on cement or on the road or anything from a good height. Like if you try to pull it out of your pocket and you drop it, there's a good chance the back may just shatter on you. And by the way, on the front side, we have Gorilla Glass 6, so slightly better protection for the front glass. But again, I would strongly recommend a sleek case for your S10 Plus. I will leave some links down in the description below for some cases that I recommend that I've personally used, whether I've used that brand or I have that specific case. I will leave links down below for my favorite cases for the S10 and S10 Plus. And of course, the main attraction on the backside of the S10 Plus, and one of my personal favorite features of this phone, is the rear triple camera setup. So that addition of the wide angle lens is just game changing. You can capture so much in a shot that it makes you never want to switch back to a dual camera phone like the iPhone or anything like that. It's just that good. And you can see some of the wide shots I got on the screen right now. These are examples. These were all shot with the S10 Plus, and this just isn't possible. These type of shots just are not possible with the current iPhone or with your traditional 1 or 2 camera setups on smartphones. It does amazingly well in low light. Video is awesome. I do recommend if you're trying to have, like a very stable video, use the wide angle. I find that to be a lot more stable than any other, setup with video. So not only is the camera quality great of the S10 Plus, but I also love the amount of different modes we have to shoot video and pictures in. So you can see right here, there's food, we have panorama, we have pro, we have live focus, we have super slow-mo, we have slow motion, and we also have hyperlapse. So there's just a wide variety of things you could do with the camera on the S10 Plus, and I really, really love the versatility that we have and the amount of options that we have with the S10 Plus, because on the iPhone, we don't really have that many options. I mean, we have portrait mode and we have normal pictures, we have panorama and things like that, but we don't have something like pro, we don't have food, we don't have, hyperlapse and things like that. So yeah, the S10 Plus has the best camera by far that I've ever used on a smartphone, and I hope that Apple with the iPhone 11 can match this or can be better than the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus when it does get released. Of course, stay tuned to the channel. I will be doing an in-depth camera comparison between these two later on this year in the fall when the new iPhone does come out. Now, inside of the S10 Plus is the Snapdragon 855 processor with 8 gigabytes of RAM. And of course, if you do get the 1 terabyte model, you'll have 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is a little bit overkill. But anyways, we are running Android 9 Pie with the One UI, which I absolutely love. And unlike past versions of Android, with Pie and the One UI, I've never really felt like I need to add a launcher, tweak a ton of settings to get the feel that I wanted. The gestures are one of my favorite features here, and it really feels similar to iOS, which I love because iOS is kind of just smoother than Android overall, and this kind of gives, that more smooth feeling to Android. It's not as smooth. It's still a little bit, clunky and janky compared to iOS, especially when you use both on a daily basis. You really notice how much smoother iOS is, but this does help. It makes things quicker. It makes you, be able to get around and navigate quicker with the gestures compared to like the buttons like we had in the past. Now we also have the new night mode right here, which looks absolutely amazing in the settings and every application. Night mode just looks terrific. You can also turn it on as scheduled. You can have it scheduled to turn on just at night, but I like keeping it on at all times. It just looks so much better than your typical white background in every application. Another thing I love is that we can rotate to landscape mode on the home screen and in applications. Now, I don't personally use this a lot. I don't really like switching my phone over. It feels like a tablet, but it is cool that we get the option to at least go into landscape mode. And there are just so many advanced features in this phone as well. I mean, I love the multitasking. I love picture-in-picture. It works really well with YouTube. I also love pop-up view, how we got multiple windows open at the same time. There's just so much you can do on Android Pie, and with that one UI, it's just excellent. It's just an excellent software. But one thing I will say that I hate, and this is something that's been, a constant battle for Android users, is the Snapchat quality is just terrible. Even still, we're in 2019, the Snapchat quality for Android is just absolutely terrible. The iPhone just blows it out of the water. So Snapchat, please update your app on Android and make it, better quality. I'm not really sure. It must be a very difficult fix if they haven't done it by now, but it's definitely noticeable, especially when you use the iPhone side by side. Another really cool feature with the S10 Plus here is wireless power share. And this is gonna let you charge other devices by just setting them on the back of the S10 Plus. Just sit it on top right there and it will charge up, a phone, it will charge up the Galaxy Buds and things like that. But one thing to be aware of is that it does use up a good amount of your battery. So you will have some drain. Of course, that's expected when you're charging another device or another phone. I would really recommend not charging up another phone because it really drains the battery. I would recommend it maybe only for the Galaxy Buds or something small like that, not really just another phone. Now, earlier I said that one of my favorite features on the S10 Plus is that wide angle lens, but my number one favorite feature overall of the S10 Plus is easily the battery life. So we have a 4100 milliamp hour battery, and this thing is just a monster. I get a full day of usage on one charge easily. When I use it all day, I'm gonna go to sleep with about 50 to 60% of battery remaining, which is super, super impressive. And I actually did a battery test comparing the S10 Plus to the iPhone XS Max, the XR, and also the Galaxy S10e. And you can really see just how much better this battery is than any of the iPhones and also the S10e as well. So check the cards in the description to watch that video. It's definitely very, very interesting. And in my opinion, that adds a lot of value to this phone when you compare it to something like the iPhone. So yeah, when you're using the S10 Plus, there's really no need to bring like an external battery or anything like that. You don't really have to worry about charging it unless you're gonna be away from a charger for like 2 days. So with all of that being said, is the S10 Plus worth the $1,000 price tag? And will I be switching to Samsung from the iPhone? So first off, yes, I think that the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus is definitely worth the $1,000 price tag, but I don't think that you should upgrade to it unless you have a device older than the Note 9, the S9, or like the iPhone 10. And if you're a fan of the Note phones, if you like having that S Pen you can pull out from the bottom and use that stylus, I would wait at least until we see what the Note 10 is gonna bring. So I would definitely not buy the S10 or S10 Plus just yet, at least until we see what that Note brings. And once again, like I said, if you have an iPhone, I would probably not upgrade to the S10 Plus. I mean, it's a great phone, don't get me wrong. I've said so many good things about it in this video, but still, at least wait until the new iPhone comes out later this year, because we're probably gonna have pretty much every feature that we have on the S10 Plus on the iPhone. I mean, I'm talking about externally. We're gonna have the triple camera setup, probably gonna have a dark mode. We're gonna have a lot of the good things that I talked about in this video on the next iPhone. So I would at least wait until we see what that iPhone is gonna bring before you upgrade. And of course, for me personally, I'm not going to be switching away from iPhone and iOS. I am just way too heavily invested in the Apple ecosystem to switch to the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. I love the phone to death, but I just can't do it. I mean, if we had iOS on this thing, if we had the continuity, if we had iMessage, if we had all these different things on Android, then I may very well switch to the S10 Plus, but the reality is we don't. Like, I can see myself using the S10 Plus for months, even still, even after I record this video, I'm still gonna be using this phone for months to come. I'm just not gonna be using it as my primary daily driver. I love the battery life. I love the triple camera setup. I love the night mode. I love all of those things, but I just need the stability and the smoothness of iOS. I need to be able to shoot Snapchat videos and not worry about the terrible quality. I need the continuity features where I can be searching something on my computer and I can just click the Safari button on my phone and I'll pick up right where I left off when I was on the computer. And like I mentioned earlier, I need iMessage. I need Find My iPhone. There's just so many things with the iPhone that I just cannot let go, no matter how good these Samsung phones are. So yeah, those are just a few reasons why I'm sticking with the iPhone over the S10 Plus. But of course, it's all gonna come down to personal preference. Not everybody's gonna share the same opinions and have the same, situation as me. me. So it's going to be different for every single person out there. But again, if you have an older phone and you're looking to upgrade, the S10 Plus is going to be a terrific buy for you. But if you have something more recent, it's not going to be that huge of an upgrade unless you just really love that big battery life and that third camera. But again, we're probably going to see that on the Note 10 and also the iPhone 11 as well. So we kind of don't know what to expect, and you don't want to get stuck with a phone that's going to be inferior in just a few months. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I really did enjoy making it. I love talking about Samsung phones and comparing it to the iPhone. I don't know what it is. I just love talking about it. I know a lot of people are going to be mad in the comment sections because I said, something bad about Android, but I said a lot of things bad about iPhone as well. So hope you guys can see this is a very unbiased video, and I really do hope you guys did enjoy it. And if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Of course, make sure to subscribe. I will be doing a more long-term review on the S10 Plus in a few months as well. And of course, stay tuned to the channel for this fall when I'll be comparing the new iPhone to something like the S10. I'll compare it to the Note 10 when that comes out later on as well. So definitely make sure you are subscribed so you can see those videos. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching this video, and I'll see you soon.